Welcome to Security with Spirits. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm joined at the bar by
Ben,
Jonathan,
and Tony. We'll tell you what to drink while we tell you about why we drink.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be honest with you. So I got a bottle of the Crown Royal Blackberry, I think is what it is. And went to pour that and wasn't feeling it. So I stuck to the Crown Royal Peach. Good stuff. I like it. So very basic, just Crown Royal on the rocks. Ooh, what was that? Hello?
Is Jason hearing things?
I think so.
Is the channel haunted tonight?
that's what happens when you mix Crown Royal Blackberry with Crown Royal Peach. Start hearing voices.
What have I done? So that's my haunting beverage. Ben, what do you got?
Drinking some Kona Hawaiian rum with some Topo Chico. The grapefruit, toasted grapefruit one. I don't know if it's Topo or Topo, but anyway, it's refreshing.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. I was actually looking that up. What rum is it?
That's called Kona. Let's see if I can find the page for it.
Kona, like there's like a beer brewing company that does like Kona beer and stuff like that.
Unless I misread the label.
Kona Brewing? Yeah.
Koloa, that's what it is. Sorry. Koloa.
Nice.
My bad.
Pretty cool. I have to pick some of that up.
Yeah, I just saw it. I have the Koloa White, and it's really good. It's I like basically all rums. So it's hard to really make them stand out. But this one was just a little crisper than your run of the mill spiced rums, and I really like it. It's not quite as was that funky or rich as Apple Estate, but it's pretty good. I like it.
Nice. I love how the like bouncers have completely given up on any alcohol website. Like you go there and it's like, are you 18? Yes. All right.
It's like, well, do you want me to lie to you, or
Jonathan, what are you drinking?
Oh, sorry.
I forgot to pass the baton.
I've just got a glass of Red Breast, a 12-year-old Irish whiskey. Neat. Just seemed like a nice way to end the evening. Tony, what do you have?
All right, I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking. But first, I know we don't normally talk about food, but I'm going to tell you what I'm eating. And before I tell you that, I got to tell you that I had a cardiologist appointment today.
Was that a bucket of chicken?
Had a cardiologist appointment today, and I believe in treating yourself after things like that. Because you're going to get news one way or another, either good or bad, so you're going to have to make some kind of change. So I had for dinner steak covered in sauteed mushrooms with brie melted on top, and then collard greens cooked in bacon with some hot sauce, sprinkled with pork rind crumbs, for a little texture crunch.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So you got good news from your cardiologist.
Well, they said that if it was bad news, I would hear, probably within hours. Otherwise, I'd get a visit, in a few days to go over the results. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I turned my phone off. I mean, I'm sure they'd get a hold of me somehow. But yeah, so for a nightcap, I'm having just some hot tea with Tennessee Hills honey whiskey.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Did we hear what Ben was having?
What Ben was having?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Hawaiian rum.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
Tell us more about this steak, Tony.
Yeah, I'm hung up on the steak now. And also, I don't think your provider is gonna find you with your phone off. I haven't seen many providers who work like house on TV. It's like, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's go through their garbage. Like that just doesn't happen.
They have all the intimate details of my life. Surely they can find me.
I just heard you, Ben. That's hilarious. Good stuff. how can I segue that into what we're talking about? And we don't know what doctors are talking about, so no.
You know, if I got bad news from the cardiologist, I would only have myself to blame, right? I can't pass the buck on that.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because tonight's topic is the blame game. We all work in this nice little ecosphere of IT, and we all have to play nicely together, but sometimes it gets a little aggravating whenever, and I hear this especially from like the cybersecurity and the network teams are the big ones that get the blame. It's always, oh, it's the network, or oh, it's your firewall, or it's your web filter, or it's something. What causes the blame game to happen? Is it just the lack of knowledge, the just trying to take the easy way out, taking a little bit of heat off you? I don't know. What have you guys seen?
I think there's multiple. It's a little multiple choice. I think that there are some that is just clearly a lack of understanding of how the different technologies work and how they integrate. I think another part of it is just a little bit of bias, I guess. They just refuse to acknowledge that there could be anything misconfigured on that end. I think when people hear security, they automatically think blocking or denying access. They don't think of it as, monitoring operations or whatever.
I mean, we've all had encounters with vendors where, oh, well, no, it's definitely not our application. It must be yours. You need to reach out to the security team. They're probably blocking it on the firewall, or it's the antivirus, or it's the vulnerability scanning, or it's the logging on the endpoint. It is definitely not our application. And then we all jump through those hoops of turning off the AV for a quick test, disabling any logging. We're not scanning. Oh, it's still your app. It's still broke. We've all been there. So I feel like from a vendor perspective, it's always just that they've seen that before, so it's quick to jump on it and definitely not be their application.
You think maybe it's just a kind of a general lack of understanding of what we do? Like security is kind of a black box at some places. And, whereas most folks in IT have been in positions where they would do maybe networking or desktop support or, general help desk stuff, and they have a broad view, maybe they don't have as much security knowledge. And so it's just easier to blame something you don't fully understand.
True.
Fear of the unknown.
Or that bias that you have confidence in your own things. Like I work for the network team. Obviously, it's not the network's problem. So
possibly be the network.
Gotta be somebody else.
And then, of course, you have to do the whole exercise of like, no, look, here's my in-map port scans. We can see that the port's open. It's not being blocked. It's not the firewall, or, this works on my computer and I have the exact same website as what your computer is. And, it's just all the things that really tend to slow a project down by putting the blame on somebody else without really, just taking the shots in the dark.
Without actually troubleshooting or digging into it, checking logs, anything.
Yeah, that's the part. That is a pet peeve of mine, is it's not us, it's them, without any diagnostic.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not even asking for like extreme deep dives or anything like that, but did you run a ping? Did you check to see if the website is even working? But it's just automatically divert.
Yeah, I think those would be. I think we would hop on it a little quicker if it was presented with, this is why we think this is the issue.
I'm trying to think where I saw it. I know I saw a link to it on Reddit. And I think it might have been from the sysadmin subreddit. I'd have to verify that. But it was an article called How to Ask Questions the Smart Way or something like that. And it's a wonderful article because it talks about, like, okay, what did I try to do? If you just take your car to the mechanic and you're like, I don't know, I turn the key and it doesn't do anything. You're you're giving them nothing to work off of, and you're expecting an answer immediately, right? Whereas if you took it and you're like, well, I tried this, and it didn't do this, they might be able to give you a little more information. But oftentimes we'll get past those, like, no, it's security, it's them, have them check it out, and we're like, okay, well, what's the website URL? Is it working? And we have to do this ground up diagnostic checking where with just a little bit of assistance, we come to a resolution much faster and possibly even not have to get multiple parties involved.
Yeah. I mean, has anybody ever experienced that when they're having to work with support on something on their personal side? Because what comes back to me is dealing with Verizon, trying to upgrade to a new phone, and it's like, well, I've done this. When I finally get on the phone with a human, well, I've done this, and this. And that person goes, oh, okay, let me move you up to the next person, because they were going to have me do the same things.
Yeah, that sounds like every ISP interaction ever, right? Have you turned it off, turn it back on? Wait for all the lights to come on. All right, let me transfer you. Have you turned it off, turn it back on? Yeah. So is that because higher tiers of support don't trust that the people who started the call did all of that, or that they did it well enough? Or do you just get used to doing it yourself?
Yeah, I often wonder, like, is it just quicker if I just do it myself?
Yeah.
Like, you're almost giving up on part of humanity then whenever you're like, you know what, you're not worth me trying to explain this to.
Well, also the being on the other side of those calls, kind of like what Tony was mentioning, you do have those trust issues. Because I know it's been a long time ago, but I used to work the service desk or the help desk, and people would call and they're like, oh, this is broken, that's broken. I'm like, yeah, have you rebooted, or we're gonna have you reboot? And they're like, oh no, I rebooted it an hour ago. I'm like, okay, well, let's still do a reboot, and we can. And they're like, oh no, I meant I actually rebooted whenever I came back in the office. That was a few minutes ago. And then you go into their machine and you look at uptime, and you're like, yeah, 42 days. That's yep, that's about right. So you get to where you've got like that issue of trust, and unfortunately, there's sometimes that it's come back to bite me, where it's like I'm a little too trusting, and I'm like, okay, when's the last time you rebooted? And they're like, oh, it went, an hour ago. And you just trust it and you let it go, and then you troubleshoot for an hour, and then you go back and you realize, like, step by step, and like, let's take one at a time, and you're like, oh, they never rebooted. Great. And I was reading an article the other day where people were sharing tricks on what they did to kind of make people do things that they don't want to do, and rebooting was one of them. It was somebody who was talking about supporting older phones, like the flip phones or whatever, and they would ask them to reboot, and they're like, yeah, I already rebooted and it didn't work. They said, oh, okay, well, I'm checking your records here, as they just bang on the keyboard. Like, I'm checking your records, and it looks like your phone may be impacted by an issue with the battery. So if you don't mind to pop the battery out and read the serial number on the back, or the product ID or something like that on the back, we just want to verify that you're not impacted by this. And of course, they pop their battery out, and that causes their phone to reboot and slam it back in, and things start working. So I don't know. Do you guys have any of those, like the tricks that you use to get people to to reboot, or to check their TCP/IP or whatever you need them to do?
Oh man, I know I've done some roundabout ways of accomplishing it. I can't think of particular methods. Usually it's individualized. If you know the person that's calling, or familiar with the person who's in the conversation, you're like, okay, I think you're this type of personality. You start to work with it that way.
I'm trying to think. I know I used to have a whole bunch of those, and now I can't remember any of them. Yeah, I am completely drawn a blank.
Yeah, I love the idea when you brought it up. I'm like, I have no idea.
We may have blocked some of those memories out as trauma from doing first level support,
Yeah. I have done the fake banging on the keyboard, loud enough to where the phone can pick it up and they can hear it on the other side and say, oh, I just pushed an update to your phone, but you're going to have to reboot for it to take effect. That's one of them. Well, while I continue to sip my whiskey and allow my brain to wake up.
Well, actually, related to that, so a counterpoint. One potential cause of this issue of playing, hot potato with tickets and incidents, pressure from management, pressure from above, people judging metrics based on maybe how quickly an issue is resolved or keeping a ticket queue cleared without measuring other things like customer satisfaction.
Oh, good point. Yep.
If the game is just to clear your ticket queue, you could always find some reason to punt a ticket.
That's true.
Yes.
And I imagine it's similar, from the vendor side. If they can punt to the customer and that gets their boss off their back, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, because like an implementation person, I mean, they're paid to, get the job done, get out of there, get on to the next one. And if they're like, oh, sorry, it's on the customer, their firewall's blocking stuff, and then they can move on. I could see that.
So I got a question for you. Has anyone ever diverted a ticket, knowing that, or in that manner where you're just automatically like, no, check with network.
Intentionally kicked it off.
Yeah. pulled the old switcheroo, so to speak.
Yeah. Reassigning with spite. Oh.
I do know in the past that I have done that when I've been like, okay, I need like 30 more minutes before I'm ready to deal with this. Go check with these people. I think it's this.
Yeah, now that we're fessing up to sins and stuff, yeah. There have been times where I'm like, I can remember one, and this was years ago. Oh man, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And I'd done something with the VPN tunnel, but whenever I actually got on the call, I was like, oh, I messed up. Like this tunnel is not, it's going to take me a bit to configure it the way it should be. The firewall I was working with was not a great firewall and took forever to push any changes to or anything. And I just needed to like have people stop saying, is the firewall or is the VPN ready? Is it ready on your side? VPN ready on your side? You good? VPN ready? VPN ready? VPN ready? It's good. It's good. Is it good? So yeah, and I can't even remember who I diverted it to. But yeah, it was just like, it's working here, but for some reason it's not connecting. Let's get. I hate to say it. I'm sorry, network. I probably blame network.
Oh, it's fun.
I know that like having both punted to and been a receiver as an access management person, you can always stall by saying, could you check the permissions on this account? You check the permissions on that folder. That'll always buy a little bit of time.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you just need a breather.
What is it? Is it a code purple in hospitals when you just need a timeout? We need a ticket code.
Oh yeah, where they're supposed to stop what they're doing, step back, and when they're on a patient that's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I know it's terrible, and it only propagates this behavior that we loathe. But sometimes, in the moment, there's got to be. We need our own code purple or whatever it is. Or like, I'm in the middle of something right now. Come back in like 20.
Oh, I was just gonna say that is a good thing though. That is a good idea. Is like there's sometimes where you just need to just let your mind think and work and just go. And unfortunately, having, I don't know why vendors do this, but like 14 people on the phone for one firewall change or whatever they're on the phone for, doesn't really help. So
and you get people on the call who are obviously just there because I'll seem important.
Yeah.
I can't actually do anything, and then you ask them to do something, and all of a sudden you realize they were totally unprepared.
Yeah. Now I wonder if they're doing that I wonder if the employees are doing that or if the business is doing that. Be like, send more people because then we'll seem important. You have a room full of people, then you'll know we're powerful.
Like what was that Dilbert comic where I need more bodies on this side of the table.
Yeah.
Go get the custodian.
Well, you see it in city work where there's one working and then 6 or 7 standing around, so it must be important work.
Now, and I don't know if this is podcast worthy. This is just a fun story. But so whenever I was living in Missouri, we had a tree removed, and one of the trees that we had removed, it was a large tree. It was a really, really tall tree, 45, 50 foot or something like that. 2 guys came out with like ladders and chainsaws, and they spent probably half the day taking that tree down. I had a tree taken down, probably a 30, 35 footer or something like that was in my front yard. I had that taken down today is actually when they came by to take it out. There was about 8 to 10 people that showed up. They came in, they started at like 9 o'clock and they were done by 9:20. Like raked the lawn and everything. Tree gone, just poof, in 20 minutes. I was like,
That's impressive.
yeah, it was amazing.
Those are people that are paid by the job and not by the hour.
Yeah.
Yep. And not one of them blamed anything on the firewall. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we'd like to keep going, but unfortunately, we're having some firewall issues. We're gonna have to, or maybe we'll check out the network or something like that. There's something's definitely going on here. It's not that we have to end now. But anyways, I hope we get this resolved, and I hope you join us for the next episode. Until then, I'm Jason.
This has been
Jonathan.
Tony.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.